Hi guys, this is our midweek devotional. We really hope that this encourages you, so let's have a listen.
The scripture I've chosen is Psalm 62, verse 5. It's just one verse, but I love it. It says this. It says, "Find rest, O my soul, in God alone." And this has been, I think, for 3 years, really. This scripture has been something that God's been bringing me back to. I still struggle to really find rest so that you're not striving, you're not struggling, you're not trying to fix it all yourself, but you're actually in a place where you're just completely at rest and trusting God. And in these times that we're living in, you know, we need more than ourselves to deal with this stuff, don't we? And I just love it. It says, "Find rest, O my soul, in God alone. My hope comes from Him." And the word rest, it means, when you look at what it actually means, it means to let go and to relax, to cease striving and to submit. I don't know if you ever used to watch the wrestling. When I was a kid, my mum used to watch the wrestling on the TV, and she'd be shouting at the telly, you know, all these different guys fighting each other. And sometimes they'd do a thing called a pinfall, where they'd try and get the shoulders, they'd hold their hands down on the floor, and if they did that and counted to 3, then it was a pinfall, and they'd be coming against each other. And they would say, "Do you submit? Do you submit?" And it's a bit like that with God. That's what I've found in my own journey. It's like, it's a wrestling thing going on sometimes, and saying, "God, I trust you, but it feels like you're stretching me to trust you even further." And that's not always easy. But the opposite to that is that we cling on to everything. We try and fix everything ourselves. The opposite to rest is stress, living in a stressful way. And striving. And you know, lots of people I know, friends of mine, they're on the hamster wheel of finances or work or you know, whatever it is, and they're just trying to chase that thing. And God says, rest. Just learn to rest. Trust God with your finances, trust God with your family, whatever you're going through, to get off the hamster wheel and just be with God, and God is enough. Somebody said, when we work, God rests. When we rest, God works. And it's great to be in a place where you can just rest and watch what God does, and you're not necessarily involved in a lot of it, but God can do far more when we're in that place of just resting and trusting Him than when we're taking control ourselves and trying to fix everybody and everything and all the stuff around us. And sometimes God just lets us do that for a while, but then there are times when He says, "No, come on, it's time to rest and just let me be in control." You know, Gideon was a guy who he said my family's nothing, you know, I'm from the weakest lot, I'm the weakest in my family. And yet, you know, he had all these guys. God had a plan for him to do some stuff, and God stripped away. He took just one day, he took 22,000 people out of his army, and He stripped it right back for Gideon, because Gideon had to learn that when God does something, it's God doing it, and God gets the credit for it. And that's the same in our lives. A friend of mine went on holiday to Wales, and they had a canoeing trip as part of the holiday. He'd never done canoeing before. He's quite a big lad. And he got in this canoe, and they trained him. They taught him how to do it. He was a bit nervous, but he kind of got into it, and he ended up getting right out into the middle of this lake. And they taught him that if it tips over, get the paddle and you can right yourself. So he'd done that, and he managed to right himself. But this time he was right out in the deep part in the middle, and it tipped over. And whatever he did with his paddle, he couldn't get back up. And he kind of got up once and got just a quick shot of breath, and then it went back over again. And he said, I was lying there, and he's a Christian guy, and he thought, I am actually going to die. This is my last moment in my life. And he said he just completely relaxed, and he just fell out of the canoe. As his body relaxed, he just fell out of this thing, and he came up, and he was just amazed at what had just happened to him. But the key thing were, he just let go, and he just completely relaxed and left it. And I've been struggling with this for a while, and I was saying to Katrina's saying, what's God saying? I said, he's telling me to rest. And I want to work, I want to get out there and provide for my family and do all kinds of things, but God just keeps telling me to rest. And we went to this old junk shop, and this thing was at the back, and it's a really old picture. It's like, if you look at it, it's probably over 100 years old, and it just says rest in the Lord. And I just had to buy it. I thought, God, how many ways are you saying this to me? So that's my encouragement to you today. Whatever's going on, get in a place where it's just you and God, and you can get into that place of rest where you're not striving and you're not struggling. We were once in a really difficult situation in our family, really problematic, and our granddaughter was about 4, and we were stopped on a car park just trying to sort something out. Her car was next to ours, and she opened the window and she said, the world is God's nana, and he's in charge. And in our family, it's something that we often say, because at that time, it was a really difficult situation going on. And it was like a word from God, from a little 4-year-old. The world is God's nana, and he's in charge. And it's so true. Thanks for listening, and see you soon.